Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Saturday, October 21st at Keeneland. Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting. We're going to take a look at the Grade 2 Lexus Raven Run for 3-year-old fillies and the late pick 4 on the Saturday card. And it is a challenging one. I could not find a single. I don't know about you, Jim, but we'll jump into the Raven Run to begin. These are 3-year-old fillies going 7 furlongs. That's always a challenging distance. And I've got a field of 11. Where did you go to in the Raven Run?
Kind of hard to eliminate any of these 11 too, isn't it? I mean,
You're right.
Probably the one in the worst form is Pretty City Dancer, and she was really good last year. I mean, she's a Grade 1 winner, but I did eliminate her because she hasn't been that good this year, obviously. So I wound up taking Tequilita. Is that Tequilita?
I think that's right.
For Michael Matz. And the biggest factor that I had was that she really loves this distance. She's 3 for 4 at 7 furlongs, including the Charlestown Oaks last time out on the bull ring circuit. But came from off the pace there, which is hard to do at Charlestown on a 7 furlongs race. And I think she suits this distance. Obviously, she won the Forward Gal at Gulfstream, a Grade 2 earlier this year, and ran behind Abel Tasman in the Kentucky Oaks. Now they figured out that she's a sprinter, and she's a really good sprinter. And although her numbers aren't quite as good as some of the other fillies in here, I really like that 3 for 4 at the distance. I'm going to use her on top. I'm going to use Shallon for Peter Miller. Paco Lopez takes them out for this one. And one thing that I like there is a horse that runs twice at Keeneland a lot of times comes back and wins. And she ran opening weekend here, and they're bringing her back on 2 weeks rest. Obviously didn't take a whole lot out of her, and Finley's Lucky Charm is going on the Breeders' Cup. So I think Shallon fits very well here. Those are my top 2 picks, and I'm going to do an exacta box with those 2. But in the pick 4, I'm going to also use Pinch Hit for Brad Cox, 2 for 3 at the distance, coming off the Dogwood win at Churchill at 7 furlongs, and Yorkie Poo Princess, who ran behind Tequilita in the Charlestown Oaks and has been very consistent lately. So I'm going to take those 4 horses, maybe one more in the pick 4 when we get to it. But Tequilita is my pick, Shallon is my second choice, and there's not much difference between them as far as I'm concerned.
I am on the California fillies here, and Shallon was just nearly the one I went to for that race over the track angle. I thought I guess I got seduced by a little bit better price that I think I'll get on Classy Tune, basically, is what it came down to. And I think Classy Tune can sit right off Shallon maybe and get a good trip. I like the trip that she projects to get. 2 starts back, she ran a 95 buyer, and that would be a pretty good number to match up with in here. Then came back on short rest and regressed, and now she's had a little time off, sharp works, and she does show one good race at her only try at 7 furlongs. She was just barely beaten, so she's shown an ability to get that distance. And so off that projected trip and a little better price than I think I'll get on Shallon, I'm going to take 9 Classy Tune for Simon Callahan. But Shallon's the one to beat. And then Miss Sunset, also coming in from California. I'm going to use that one as well. So I'm going to use 8, 9, 11 in an exacta box, and I'll use those 3 in the pick 4, which starts in the 7th race with 2-year-old maiden fillies going 7 furlongs. And I landed on Pamela Moon here for Ian Wilkes, second-time starter, and Wilkes horses usually aren't cranked up for first time out, so they improved second time. And this one took a little money in the debut, which that caught my eye. I'm going with horses in here that have experience. America's Tale, Elusive Truth, Good Creation are the others. So 7, 8, 9, 10 are the ones that I'm going to use here to start the pick 4. Hazan is another one, but just to keep the ticket down, I scratched that one off. But within the race, that's another one that I liked a little bit. The 8th race, I'm going to take Excessive Spending. This horse is well drawn in a big field. Jeremy Plunk, we've told you this stat before, that he tracks in these turf sprints when there's a full field. For whatever reason, the 3, 4, and 5 posts outperform what they should. And I like where Excessive Spending's drawn, has improved since going to the turf. I think this is a bit of a class drop. Cherry Lodge, the 2, Spelker, the 3 for Wesley Ward are the other ones I'll use here. India Mantuana, the 6, was another one I liked in the race, but again, to keep the ticket down, I scratched that one out and just used 4, 2, 3 in the pick 4. I'm going to use the 3 I mentioned in the Raven Run. And in the last race, I'm going at least 3 deep. Time to Flirt. Cox Barnes heating up a little bit, and that was a good field, that race up at Saratoga in August that she ran against. Freedom and Halle Bell are the other 2 I like. I would add Jaunt if you can afford it. If you can't, that's my 4th of the 4 in this race, so you could leave that one out and keep the ticket down, but if you can afford it, I would add Jaunt as well. So I'm 4 by 3 by 3 by 3 or 4, depending on your budget. How about you?
Well, I went a little different here, and I'm going to really differ with you in the last race. So that's my single, the last race. So the 7th race, I'm using some of the same horses that you use. I think Elusive Truth, the 7, Good Creation, the 8, America's Tale, the 9, and Desert Isle, the 11 are my top 4 choices. I'm going to throw in Charlie the Presti, Woody's Reward. Doesn't look that good on paper, but Charlie the Presti gets him ready every once in a while. He hasn't done anything on his first starters, but they are competitive. So just as a wild shot, I'm going to throw Woody's Reward in there. So that's 5 horses. Second leg, the 8th race. I'm like you, the 5.5 furlong turf. You have to use the inside horses. I did toss the 1. I used the 2 Cherry Lodge, the 3 Spelker, the 4 Excessive Spending, the 5 Width. I used all 4 of those post positions. I also am going to throw in Smiling Causeway, the 9, and Touch of Bling, the 11, for Michael Maker on the outside. But my top picks are the 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Then in the Raven Run, I'm going to go 5 deep with Yorkie Boo Princess, the 1, Pinch Hit, the 3, the 7 Tequilita, 8 Shallon, and 11 Miss Sunset. So 5 deep there. And I'm going to single your 4th choice in the last race, Shug McGahee and Jose Ortiz on John. I watched Ortiz win 5 races in the last couple of days here, so even though the horse is 0 for 9, I think Ortiz has ridden him back the last 2 times and finished second. I think this is a little easier field, and his numbers stack up very well against these. So I'm going to single the 9 to make it affordable in the last leg. So 4, 7, 8, 9, 11 with 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 11 with 1, 3, 7, 8, 11 with 9. I guess the 11s are wild, the first 3 legs. $75 for the pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, that's a good angle on John with Ortiz, because when he gets hot, he can sometimes win races in bunches. I've seen him do it before up in New York, and so he had at least 1 winner, if not 2, on the Thursday card. So just keep an eye. If he has a good Friday, then ride him while he's hot would be my suggestion.
He had 3 on Wednesday and 2 on Thursday.
Yeah, so he is definitely getting hot here toward the middle part of the meet, and may make a run at the riding title. Who knows? Best of luck with your Saturday wagers, and we'll be back for another edition of the In the Money podcast for the Root and Riddle Dowager on Sunday. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and this is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.